Please welcome our newest Hall of Fame, Pabst Hall of Fame awardee, author of the DNA book, CSP, and a global speaking fellow, Lindsay Adams on stage with a whiteboard. Isn't that amazing? Yay!
Thank you,
Go
Roger.
for it, brother.
So, tell me this, ladies and gentlemen. Have you ever been working in an organisation and you work with someone that you just kind of click and you get on so well with? Yeah? Well, what about this then? Have you worked with somebody that you've really struggled to connect with? You can't just kind of get there. Or what about this? Have you ever worked with somebody who, if they spontaneously caught fire in front of you, may not be a bad day? Yeah? So I'm a relationship management specialist. I work with leaders in organisations, helping them to understand their people and bring out the best in their people. And I have been working for many, many years with people. So today, I want to help you understand how to get people to say yes when they would normally say no. I used to live in a leafy suburb in Brisbane, in Australia, called Ferny Grove. And Ferny Grove was the end of the railway line. And I worked in those days in the Australian Taxation Office. And so I would catch the train to the city every day to go to the tax office. So when I got to the station in the morning, the train would be there, all the doors would be open, and there'd be hardly anyone on the train. So you could sit pretty much wherever you like. So this particular day I come in and I take my seat and I'm reading the paper, and I notice this guy out of the corner of my eye looking at me, and he's twitching. And I said, "Can I help you?" And he said, "Yes, you're sitting in my seat." And I went, "What?" I mean, the whole train is empty. There's 100 other seats. He says, "You're sitting in my seat. I sit there every day." And I went, "Not today." And he was getting even more excited. And I folded up the paper and I stood up and I said, "Here, have your seat." And he sat down and he went, and I thought, this is strange. And so then I started to watch and notice that the same people sat in the same seat, in the same carriage, every single day. And being a study of human behaviour and people and understanding relationships, I started to wonder why. And I realised that human beings follow patterns. Now, hands up for me, who drives to work through the wonderful traffic in Manila? Who drives to work every day? Hands up for me. Okay, so we've got about a third, half the audience. So tell me this. Do you leave home at the same time? Yeah? Do you drive along the same route every day? Yeah. Do you park in pretty much the same spot every day? Yeah. And so what it is we are creatures of habit. We have these patterns which we routinely follow day after day after day. Now, gentlemen, well, actually, I notice, this probably applies to ladies and gentlemen in this room. I notice that a lot of ladies are wearing trousers, some skirts, but some not. So when you get dressed in the morning, I guarantee you'll put the same leg into the same side of your trousers every single time. Now, tomorrow morning, when you're getting dressed, don't think of me. Think about what you're doing. Which side goes in first, and I guarantee you'll do that over and over and over. Gentlemen, when you shave, do you have a routine? Do you start in the same place and finish in the same place every time? Yes. Ladies, when you apply your makeup, do you have a routine? Do you start in the same place and finish in the same place every time? Yes. We are all governed by patterns, and those patterns exhibit in the workplace. And as a leader in the workplace, it's helpful if you can observe the patterns and understand what they mean, which then will help you to work better with the people who work with you. So, I'm the youngest of 5 boys. I have 4 older brothers, no sisters. In our house, we had a little 2-bedroom house. My mother said, God knew that we couldn't have a girl in the house because where would she sleep? So I had 4 older brothers. My eldest brother is 14 years older than me. He's 35 next birthday. Try to keep up, Lloyd. So my middle brother, he's married and he lives in Melbourne, right down the bottom end of Australia. So I go to visit him. I call him up. I travel a lot. I go to Melbourne quite regularly. I called him up one night and I say, "Hey, Kevin, I'm in town. I'd love to come around and visit." And he says, "Great, come and have dinner." And so I go in and his wife's there. We greet, we hug, we kiss, usual stuff. And his wife says, "You sit in the family room while we get dinner ready." And then I watch what goes on. So she's preparing the meal and I notice that she washes her hands frequently. I lost count at 45 times that she washed her hands. And then I noticed that she, something splashed on the floor and she mopped the floor 14 times in 30 minutes. This is not normal pattern behaviour. And so she has taken her patterns to the extreme, to almost obsessive compulsive. And there are people in the world that they take their patterns to extreme. Now, hands up for me, who's in a significant relationship? Married, has a husband, boyfriend, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend? Hands up for me. Fantastic. But you got one of both. Fantastic. Good on you, Raju. So when you go home from your day and you walk through the door, can you tell if your significant other has had a good day or not? Without speaking. Yeah? How do we do that? How do you know they've had a bad day? You can tell by the look on their face, by the way they hold their body, by the fact that they've got a huge glass of beer in front of them, sculling it deeply. Just joking. So we can tell by just looking, but we build up a data bank of patterns that we have observed in our significant other, and we know whether they're happy, whether they're sad, whether they're apprehensive, whether they're questioning, whether they're angry, and so on. And so it's the same with people that we work with. But what I'm going to do today is give you the shortcut. And I'm going to teach you how to quickly identify where other people fit and then how to get along with them better. Does that sound like a good idea? Fantastic. So on your table, if you look in the middle, you see you've all got a little envelope like this. So I want you to all pass them around. Everybody take a little envelope. Open it up. And inside the envelope, you'll see you have 4 coloured cards. And the colours are primarily red, blue, yellow, green, or variations thereof. Use your imagination. So has everybody got an envelope? Everybody got some cards. Now, ignore the colours. Look at the words. I want you now to order the cards, looking at the words, thinking of yourself at work. Order the cards in the sequence with the words that best describe you at work. So order them 1 to 4. I see we're going well. Now I see some frowns, I see some people looking unhappy. Not all those words describe you, do they? So in a moment, when I give you the signal, here's what we're going to do. Listen carefully. In a moment, we're going to stand up and I want you to swap, go to someone else in the room and get rid of the words that you don't like and swap them for words that describe you better. But you've always got to keep 4 cards in your hand. Don't worry about the colour, focus on the words. Okay, you know what you've got to do? Stand up, swap cards, get a handful that describe you best at work. Go. You've got a minute. You have 10 more seconds. 10 more seconds. Swap those cards, get those words that describe you best at work. 10 more seconds. I would like you now to move to sit down. Please take your seat. Shh. Please take your seat. Shh. Please take your seat. What she said. Okay, by now you have a bunch of cards. 4 cards that describe you best at work. I now want you to number those cards again. Put them in order 1 to 4. Oh, and by the way, in light of Matthias, who spoke to us yesterday, Matthias, Green Man, and recycling, these cards are yours to play with, but mine to keep. Okay, I'm going to recycle them and use them again at my next presentation. So please, when we're done, just leave them on the table. Is that okay? Yeah. Fantastic. We're into recycling. So, have you ordered the 4 cards now? Yeah. I want you to take cards number 3 and 4 and put them back in the envelope. So keep the top 2 out on the table in front of you. The top 2. Top 2. Okay, so who's got predominantly pink or red cards? Hands up for me. Predominantly pink or red cards. Fantastic. You are the directors, the big D directors, okay? And I'll come back and explain what that means in a moment. Who's got predominantly blue cards? Blue cards, you are the thinkers. Who's got predominantly green cards? Where are all my green card buddies? You are the socialisers. And who has predominantly yellow cards? You are what's known as the relators. So let me explain now a little about each of the 4 quadrants so that we can understand ourselves better and then figure out how we're going to work better with people who aren't like us. So directors, hands up. Who are my directors in the room? Hands up for me. These people like to make things happen. They are goal-oriented, driven people. If we all had to get on a bus and go somewhere this afternoon, they would want to drive the bus. And in fact, what often happens, they like to do things at 1,000,000 miles an hour. So they'd be driving the bus, we'd be heading down the freeway at 100 kilometres an hour, and we'd hit a big speed bump in the bus, and they'd look up in the rearview mirror, and there'd be a dead body on the road, and they go, oh, never even saw that coming. And see, what happens in the workplace, directors, if we have more than one director working together, they can be like a couple of old billy goats and butt heads. And so if you work with directors, you need to make sure that they each have an assigned role and they know what their job is so that they can each get on with it. Because if there are no assigned roles, they will want to take charge and they will want to make things happen. So how are we going, my pink card people? Sound like you? Yep, I'm seeing lots of nodding heads. Fantastic. So let's go up now and look at the socialisers. Where's my socialiser buddies? Hands up. These are amongst the nicest people who walk the earth. It's true, because I'm one of them. So socialisers, as the term implies, they love people. They love interacting with other people, they love a conversation, they love a chat, and they know lots of people. But they only know them at a surface level. They know their name, but actually they sometimes forget their names, but they know who they are. And in Australia, socialisers go like this. Hey, mate, how are you? It's a universal term. If we can't recall your name, we just call you mate. So I don't know how that works over here, but if I call you mate, it is a term of endearment, but it could also indicate, I forgot your name. So these people, they are big picture thinkers. They love the world of ideas and possibility. And they'll get carried away. They want to create a much bigger, whatever it is. Whereas the directors, they want to get on and do it. The socialisers want to get on and talk about it. Can we just talk about that for a little bit longer? I've got a great idea. I think and so they got the world of ideas ahead of them. Okay, where are my relators? Hands up for me, relators. These people are the salt of the earth. I love relators. In an association, if you're a member of Philippines Association of Professional Speakers, these are the people who will show up early to the meeting. They will help set up the room. They'll be there late to help tidy up. They'll be the ones who will be going up to the MC saying, can I help out? Is there something I could do? Could I get the speaker a glass of water? Is everything all right? Could I sit at the registration table? They want to help out. In an organisation, they are the people who kind of go with the flow. So directors and socialisers, they are more extroverted. And so they will talk. Whereas the relators are more introverted. And they'll go with the flow. So the director or the socialiser, in fact the socialiser will say, let's all go downstairs and drink beer together. And the relator will go quietly in their mind, I don't really feel like drinking beer. And the socialiser will go, come on, let's go. And they'll go, all right. And they'll go along for the ride. Okay, where's my last group? The blue card people, the thinkers. Now, come on, be brave. Put your hands up high, thinkers. Yes, thank you. Because these are the quiet, detailed people. You can spot a thinker from their conversation. It goes something like this. How much will that cost? How much time have we got? When do we have to have it done by? They ask question. And they love detail. So if they were a carpenter, they would measure twice and cut once. The socialiser would measure once, cut it and go, oh my goodness, it's too short. Better get a longer nail. So these are the detailed people. They want to prepare and make things happen in a slow and methodical manner. They do not like change. Directors and socialisers love change. Bring on something new, great opportunity, let's do it. Relators and thinkers, we just need to consider that for a little bit longer. We don't need to rush into this. We've got to think this through a little more carefully. So here's the other interesting thing. Directors and relators are almost opposite. Has anybody got one of each card in their hand? Right. If we could just hold that gentleman, get the straitjacket, we'll call the ambulance. I'm only joking. So what we've done actually, ladies and gentlemen, we've done a quick card sort and we have identified you, and I call this a quick and dirty. This is actually a profile called the Platinum Rule. And the Platinum Rule profile measures your social styles and how you get on with other people. And if you're super interested, come see me. We can organise to do a profile for you. It's a 30,000 word report. It's unbelievably accurate. So if you're really keen, come talk to me. But typically, directors and relators are opposite. Socialisers and thinkers are opposite to each other. Directors and socialisers kind of get on well. Directors and thinkers get on well. Thinkers and relators get on well. Relators and socialisers get on well. Because they're beside each other, okay? Now, directors and socialisers more extroverted. Thinkers and relators more introverted. Relators and socialisers are more people-oriented. Whereas thinkers and directors are more task-oriented. So they like to make things happen. Now, see, here's the thing. If we know about this, if you're a director and you've got staff or a customer and they're a relator, then you need to change your behaviour to be a little more like them in order to get them to say yes. If you're a socialiser and you go into a thinker's office with a world of big picture ideas, their response is likely to be, I'll think about it, I'll take it on board, I'll get back to you. So we've got to think of how do we adjust our behaviour to be a little more like them. True story, I had an HR manager, she was a socialiser, very loud, very extroverted, talked with her arms, waved her arms around a lot, and her boss was a thinker. And she said to me, Lindsay, I can never get this guy to agree to anything. And I said, well, tell me what you do. She said, well, he's on the next floor up from me. I know his PA really well. I just got to talk to the PA. She slips me into his office in between meetings, and I go in and I whiteboard ideas and I give him great concepts, and he goes, I'll think about it. I'll look into it. I'll get back to you. What do? I said, it's really simple. Book an appointment in his diary. Send him an email and outline what you want to talk about, topic and key points and key outcomes. Go to the meeting at the appointed time. Sit quietly in front of him. Put your hands under your thighs. Do not wave your arms around. Have the email printed and pass it across the desk and work through in a slow and methodical way. She did it. She rang me. Lindsay, it worked! Didn't need the phone. I could hear her clear across town. You see, she adjusted her behaviour to be more like her boss, and he said yes when he would normally say no. So think about your behaviour. Now, how do we identify these people? Is Lloyd in the room? Where is Lloyd? Run, quickly, Lloyd. Up here, quick, I need you. Come on, Grandad. I want to show you how to spot these people. They're really easy to pick out. And you can do it by a handshake, by the clothes they wear, by the car they drive. So I'm going to get my volunteer. Oh, Lloyd, you volunteered. Give him a round of applause. Thank you so much for volunteering, Lloyd. Love your work, buddy.
You're crazy.
So, here's the director handshake. Watch carefully. Hello, Lloyd. I'm Lindsay. Did you see that? I'll do it again. Hello, Lloyd. Hello, Lloyd. I'm Lindsay. So they're going to say their first name, and it's one pump, and it's a firm handshake. Nice firm handshake, right? Now, we'll go up to the socialiser. Hello, Lloyd. I'm so happy to see you. Oh, my goodness, I've been waiting for days and days and days and days and days to meet you. And I'm making a joke of it, but I have literally had a guy, and I was shaking hands with him, and he was so effusive and excited, and I said, can I have my hand back? And he went, oh, I'm sorry. And so you will see lots of people will do what I call the double pump, or they'll do the triple pump, or seriously, they'll shake your arm off. So you watch now when people shake hands, whenever anyone does that, smile and know that you can go big picture with them. Now, the third handshake, the relator, I'm going to put this down for a sec. You watch carefully. See what I did there? Grabbed his hand and then I put my other hand over the top. So one of our Prime Ministers, Kevin Rudd, used to do that handshake a lot. Now, the final handshake, the thinker, it goes something like this. Hello, Lloyd. Nice to meet you. They do not want to get into your personal space. Yes, well done. So they are going to get as far away from you as possible. And I managed a sales team around the world for an IT company in New Zealand a couple of years back. And I met one of our salespeople in the US for the first time. And here's what she did. Hold up your hand, Lloyd. She gave me those fingers and she stood back as far as she could, and that was the handshake. She did not want to touch me. And that's the thinker handshake. Thank you, Lloyd. Give him a round of applause. You may now leave the stage.
I actually enjoyed it. Can I stay for longer?
No, this is my show. Get off. So, we recognise people by their handshake, by the language they use. So directors, in terms of their language, they're very direct. They say what they think. They are very short, sharp and clipped sentences, and they don't muck around with how you going, what are you up to. You can spot a socialiser a million miles away. They'll say, hi, how are you? How's your day been? Did you sleep well? I spoke with Tony before, and she said, hi, Lindsay, did you sleep well last night? How are you today? And I'm thinking, yep, socialiser, socialiser, socialiser. In fact, stand up for me, Tony, and turn around. Stand up, please. Turn around and look at that beautiful necklace she's wearing. And do you remember what she wore yesterday, the bright red dress with the other necklace? So socialisers love clothes. So if you spot someone who's well-dressed or wearing a suit which is a little different from anyone else, they're probably a socialiser. In fact, directors will always wear a dark suit, big chunky watch, male or female, they'll wear a suit. So ladies, skirt, coat, and they have lots of bling. And I see, yes, we've got a few people here who meet that description. Socialisers, colourful clothing. Relators, more subdued pastel colours. And again, I can see some pastels out there. Thinkers don't like to shop. Now remember I said my 4 older brothers? So my second brother, second from the top, he's 10 years older than me. You figure out how old he is. He does not like to shop. He said to me, I have a suit. If I need a suit, I've got a suit. How many suits do you need? I've got 6. I have 4 sports jackets as well. I love clothes. Oh, and shoes, by the way. But thinkers don't like to shop. So he went to a trip to Canada and did this, the rail tour with the glass top railway carriage, and did the cruise through the fjords, and he bought a souvenir T-shirt. Next summer, he wore that shirt every second day. And I swore he had 2 shirts in his wardrobe, and he wore them alternate days because he doesn't like to shop. So think about people that you work with. If they wear the same clothes, or they have worn or tatty clothes, then they are probably a thinker. So we can pick them by their handshake, by the clothes they wear, and also by the cars they drive. So directors are going to have a muscle car, V8 engine, strong, big SUV maybe. Socialisers, sports car, top down, million miles an hour. Relators, they'll have a standard family vehicle where they can fit lots of kids in. Thinkers are going to have a people mover that's 10 years old. The car works perfectly fine, why would I need to get a new one? So once we know and understand where people fit, we can adjust our behaviour to be like them. And that's the key here. So you have to adjust your behaviour, and you take a step in their direction and be a little like them in order to get what you want or need. Am I making sense? Fantastic. So, Mr. Timekeeper, we're out. We've got 3 minutes. So, with that, I would love to share more information. If you're at all interested, we could do a profile. If you're just curious, please come talk to me. I'm here all day. It's been an absolute pleasure to be with you. Again, just leave the envelopes in the middle of the table. I'll come collect them at lunchtime. So it's been an absolute hoot, and I look forward to speaking with you later. Thank you.
Hey, Lindsay, thank you.